That's not straight.
I can't really think there's any way of like properly fixing that in.
I know, it's a joke, innit?
That's better.
UCSB.
Smash that, mate.
Hello and welcome back to the Villa Filler podcast here with my good friend Dan Wiseman again. How you doing, buddy?
I'm very good, how are you?
Good, I'm really good because recently we've passed 900 subscribers. I thought I'd mention this first because
Massive get in,
we've got the people listening.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for your support there and there. Two
Oh,
angles
course,
again, look at us moving up in the world. We're back with the Villa Filler podcast. A bit of an Easter special this week, isn't it, Dan?
Absolutely.
As we mentioned last week, Dan decided we should sort of change the podcast up to be more topical. So we thought, what better topic to look at than Easter fixtures? Because without giving much away, it's been pretty doom and gloom, really, hasn't it, Dan?
Yeah, looking back, trying to get a sense of some of the more iconic fixtures that we've played around Easter, it's actually been quite tough. It's been quite poor, especially kind of post 2010, some real drab. As you're saying, I think it's kind of the fixtures, the importance of the season starts to pick up. There's more pressure on these games. It hasn't been a great time for the Villa, but we have still managed to pick out a few good games, which hopefully we'll be able to bring some positivity and keep the general positivity around the club at the moment. Try and keep it going with some good results, some Easter treats.
That's it. Obviously, we're on an 8-win streak at the moment, which is amazing. And I think you may be a little bit worried actually looking at some of these fixtures. Well, I don't think we're going to make it to 9. But where are we going to get started, Dan?
So I think we'll start recently. And Easter last season saw us go and beat Ipswich 4-0 away, which was probably one of the better results from last season. A fantastic away day. Always nice to go and put an away performance in like that. But it's actually the season before that where I want to kick things off. 1-0 against the Blues. That famous Gabby Bonham goal came on the 23rd.
Unreal, that game. It was what I was briefly touching on earlier. It wasn't a great game, and it was at a moment where Blues were probably better than us in the league. I believe that's the season they were. They had Harry Redknapp. They just brought him in after getting rid of Zola.
First game.
Yeah, which sets that game up nicely, doesn't it? Getting Harry Redknapp in for that. I mean, it's one to you think you'd worry about. I have vivid memories of this game. Of the first thing Bonham did when he was on the pitch was stamp on Craig Gardner's toe, and for me, that reignited the game because it was a pretty dull and drab game.
It was a proper derby game, very scrappy. Neither team were playing particularly good football. As you said, it was Harry's first game in charge. I remember being quite nervous going into that one. I think I was quite scared of new manager bounce, obviously because Harry was quite a big appointment. I was quite nervous, but obviously it was Gabby's first game in like 6 months, wasn't it? Something like that. Brought back in, and as soon as you saw him on the bench, we all knew.
Yeah.
I actually seem to recall him getting booked pretty much immediately after scoring for a flying shoulder barge or something like that. I was actually quite upset he didn't get sent off because what that would have been perfect, wouldn't it? The one thing that did come out of that game, there's two of my favourite images from that season. The one where Gabby's running off and celebrating, I think it's Paul Robinson trying to kick him in the background
and punches James Chester.
Fantastic, love that picture. And then the second one is where we just scored, Jack Grealish on the bench in front of Redknapp, all the fans behind, love that. It wasn't a great game, but what a moment for Gabby Bonham.
It was, and if I remember correctly, it was the moment Gabby and Lansbury came on. I mean, that's a player we don't talk about a lot anymore, is it, Henry Lansbury? It was, as I said, it was such a dull game, and it needed that because it wasn't that much of a derby game up until then. Really, I didn't think there wasn't tackles flying in or anything, and until Gabby and Lansbury brought on that bit of aggressiveness and desire, it didn't really feel that much of a derby game, and we just took it to another level, and any goal against the Blues is a great goal, and that's one that will be remembered for years and years to come, with it being Gabby's last as well. a scrappy goal, but as long as it hits the back of the net, who cares, mate? Who cares?
Actually, just looking at the team for that game now, I recall another good thing about that game was that although Leandro Bacuna started, he did dye his hair claret for that match,
yes.
if I remember correctly. So I don't have much respect for much that Bacuna did during his time at Villa, but that and being caught singing Villa chants on Broad Street at about 3 o'clock in the morning, probably only two things. So we give that, Bacuna was in there. Grealish, still representing Ireland at the time, hadn't made the switch at that point.
Came off, didn't he?
Yeah. Gary Gardner came on for us.
Wow.
Yeah, probably less said about that the better. But yeah, that was one of the games I picked out. Onto a bit of doom and gloom, unfortunately, but quite a pivotal match in not just recent history, but Villa's entire history, really. Easter weekend, 1-0, Manchester United at Old Trafford, the game that sent us down, the weight off our shoulders match.
It's shocking, isn't it? I mean, when most teams at that time, I think United were just sort of coming to the end of their success and glory days, and since then they've not really been the same. So sort of going to Old Trafford, especially in that season, didn't really expect a lot, if I'm honest. But
No.
I mean, again, when you look at our teammate Brad Guzan,
Yeah, I've just got
in goal that season, I feel really sorry for Brad Guzan because he was a solid keeper and he'd been a very loyal servant to the club. Obviously we released him, then Paul Lambert, I think his first signing was Guzan, getting him back, and there was a time where Brad Guzan was saving us 10-15 points a season, and he was fantastic, but he wasn't really the same since that Man City game where he squared the ball to Aguero. I think that was the easiest goal Aguero will ever score in his career. But there's so many players in that squad where you just think, Jesus Christ. Kieran Richardson.
Yeah,
Why would we ever sign Kieran Richardson?
I'm just going to read you this team. So we lined up Guzan, Sissoko, Hutton, Lescott, Bacuna, Clark, Richardson, Westwood, Guay, Ayew, Sinclair, Eric Black.
Oh, of course, yeah. Eric Black.
We went 1-0 down, 32 minutes, Marcus Rashford scored. It's also a pretty prime Banter-era United team, I'd like to add. You've got Schneiderlin in there, Depay, and...
Is this David Moyes or Louis van Gaal?
It's Louis van Gaal.
Wow.
The bench, Paddy McNair is on the bench. Young was on the bench for that match. A pubescent Jesse Lingard as well. But yeah, we had... went 1-0 down, obviously, half an hour Marcus Rashford scored, and on the bench we had the faces of Bunn, Lydon, Richards, Hill, Sanchez, Grealish and Gisted, and after 82 minutes we turned to Gisted, took him off for Kieran Richardson, and that was our only attempt to try and salvage our Premier League survival. By that point we'd won none of our last 16, with 4 games remaining. Our relegation was confirmed. It was the earliest in the Premier League since 09-10 when Portsmouth was sent down.
Thankfully Huddersfield have taken that one off us.
So,
oh man, it was such a dreadful game, and if I'm honest, that year and the season before, I started to get a bit more into Villa, and probably the wrong time, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've always supported the club, but I started going to games a bit more regularly. Now I had a job and stuff like that, and it's just depressing, man. Like, Villa Park was a horrible place to go to during that relegation.
Yeah, it was. It was terrible, wasn't it?
It was awful, and I distinctly remember like the images of Ashley Westwood and Leandro Bacuna sort of on the floor in tears.
Yeah, it was only on my way into Manchester this morning where I was talking about the Wickham away game in the FA Cup and the car crash. The lowest point in Aston Villa's probably footballing history, I would say, just when the fans turned on the players.
Micah Richards was arguing with the fans.
Gisted as well, I remember. Swore at a few fans, I remember.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. It wasn't great, but to move things on to a more positive note, we look a year before, almost to the day, from that Man United game where we got sent down, 2-1, Liverpool, FA Cup semi-final.
Unreal game, mate. It was so good. Jack Grealish announced himself to the world that day.
Yeah.
And to be honest, probably the worst thing he could have done. He was so good, and the goals come up in my timeline recently. The Delph one with the Benteke back heel, and like it was never a great squad, that one.
No,
it wasn't.
No, the 11 I'm looking at now, I'm surprised we won the game, to be honest with you.
And even getting that far in the competition, I believe we played Blackpool. Obviously, that was an awful game at Villa Park, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was shocking.
Bournemouth?
Yeah.
Leicester.
Collis Hill scored that one against Bournemouth, didn't he?
Great goal.
Unreal goal. Slumming it out in Montreal now with Remy Gard, his best mate. But that was such a weird side, really. Like when you look at teams that are going up now, especially, obviously, I mean, we were already in the league, but just look at some of the players that they've got, and obviously the money's changed. The money does change everything, but and I know we didn't really feature that much for Fulham, but signing someone like Vieto, I know he's not playing, but that's huge for Fulham, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're playing Andy Vyman, and as good as Benteke was, Kieran Richardson. I believe we signed Philippe Senderos that season as well.
Yeah, we did. I think, mate, I'm just going to read you out the two benches. Right, this is an FA Cup semi-final. Right, in fact, no, I'm going to go one better. I think the only thing worse than our starting 11 was actually Liverpool's. So Liverpool went Mignolet, Lovren, Moreno, Skrtel, Chan, Allen, Gerrard, Henderson, Coutinho, Markovic, Sterling.
Wow.
And then on the bench for Liverpool, are you ready? Get this. Brad Jones, Javier Monquillo, Glenn Johnson, Kolo Touré, Ricky Lambert, Mario Balotelli and Fabio Borini.
Am I right in saying the only two players left in that Liverpool squad are Moreno, Lovren and then maybe Mignolet?
Yeah, Mignolet, I think that's it.
Wow. Hendo, of course, yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Gerrard wasn't great that game, was he?
No, he wasn't.
He was shocking. Delph was running rings around him.
It was, a little bit of trivia. Benteke's opener was the 400th goal Liverpool had conceded in their FA Cup history, and it was the first goal that an Aston Villa player had scored in an FA Cup semi-final since 1957. We hadn't scored in our last 5 FA Cup semis, apparently.
Yet we've still won 7 FA Cups. Wow, that is shocking, mate.
So there you are.
Great. Shay Given was immense that game, if I remember.
Yeah,
and I'm all for honouring the player for the shirt, but God, that finally was dreadful worthy.
Yeah, I think I have to say, no doubt in the new theme of podcast we're going to eventually get onto our, kind of covering the best players in each position and that kind of theme. And I would like to give an honourable mention to Shay Given because the final he wasn't great, but in the run up to the final he was immense, mate. Incredible. One of something fantastic goalkeeper performances. So yeah, big shout out to Shay Given. And then we really do go through a period of real doom and gloom. Nothing to mention kind of between, that was 2015, that FA Cup semi-final. The most notable fixture and a very notable one, mind you, I had to go back 7 years prior, believe it or not, to 2008, the 20th of April, Villa 5, Birmingham City 1.
What a game. Am I right in saying that was the Gary Cahill overhead kick?
Oh, I don't know.
In front of the whole end. I think I saw something on my Twitter timeline.
Yeah, that was recently, wasn't it? But yeah, what a game! In fact, John Carew holding up the ball boy in front of the Holte end. Great celebration. Why is that not done more? We need to see more of that. Picking up ball boys in front of the Holte end.
I think there's some lawsuits coming in there, really.
Safeguarded issues probably didn't come in there. I realised what I said. But yeah,
before Grealish can pick you up, you've got to sign a waiver. That's what you want to see, though, isn't it? So the ball boys often are academy lads as well. So I mean, there was the picture on Twitter the other day of the Liverpool game where Gerrard infamously slipped and Trent was a ball boy.
Yeah,
you could see him just as Gerrard slipped in the background. But yeah, why not? I mean, that's great.
Yeah, I think that's a great game. Yeah, I'm gonna have a look at it. So it wasn't the Cahill.
No, but yeah.
Young, Tuchel, Carew, Young again, and then Gabby, Mikhail Forsell got him back 67th minute.
Who?
Liam Ridgewell, obviously playing for Blues at that time.
Of course.
Mauro Zarate up top for Blues.
He's one a lot of people forget actually played in England before his move to West Ham. I mentioned it in my coursework actually. I was doing a was doing a piece on Southern American footballers in Italy, and my conclusion was for every Mario Cardi there's a Mario Serrato.
That is brilliant.
Slandering his
Brilliant,
name. I know Chris knows. I'm assuming Chris knows the blues connection.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I think, what a Larson and Melberg at the back. Zap Knight joined in there.
Freddie Boomer
in there.
Underrated.
Yeah, very.
When was the last time I had a fullback like him?
He, I heard one of the first Villa goals I can really remember was a Freddie Boomer goal, Newcastle.
Scored some bangers, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a great player, very underrated, cult hero.
Yeah,
I would say. Mark Clattenburg, 42,500 in at Villa Park that day. What a great day. But yeah, wasn't great. We had our own new substitute, Stuart Taylor. There's a throwback.
Wow.
Salafu, Wayne Routledge, and Patrick Berger.
Mate, Patrick Berger. I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember before match attacks there were shootout cards?
Yeah.
I had probably about 10 different Patrick Berger cards. I kept packing him. It was my duplicate. I was fuming, but he was wearing the yellow away strip as well, which we spoke about in the last podcast.
No, I'll tell you what. There's an idea for a future podcast: match attacks.
We're
going to look at all the old match attacks. There's a great show. So get ready for that one.
Going to have to do some diving on eBay.
Yeah.
Oh mate, that's brilliant.
So, quite obviously for us, the year before that, the 28th of April, just after Easter, 2-0 win at the Etihad against City, 2007.
Is that their inaugural season?
Yeah, I think it was. Oh, yeah, definitely.
This team, mate.
Definitely
wow.
Not prime Man City. Isaacson, Distan, Onua Dunn, Ball, Barton, Hammond, Ireland, a midfield of Ball, Barton, Hammond, Ireland, Mpenza, Georgios Samaras and Darius Vassell.
Mate, Darius Vassell, wow. I forget.
Big game for him. Big game for him.
Wow. That City, when they first sort of got that move, and I believe this is sort of pre all the money that was injected in the club, but Richard Dunn. I mean, it's funny, one of my mates at work saw Richard Dunn the other night at the Etihad, and he posted on his Instagram the picture saying it's great to meet this club legend and blah blah, and it weren't like in jest, it was deadly serious.
Wow.
Richard Dunn is a I don't want to throw that much shade on Richard Dunn's name. Obviously he's got the record for the most own goals in the Premier League history. That kind of does overshadow on it. Yeah, he made some important saves for us, but Richard Dunn being a club legend, come on.
Yeah, I think it's stretching a little bit. Trevor Sinclair was on the bench for Man City that day.
He must have been about 40.
Jesus, yeah. He was alongside, get this City bench, Nicky Weaver, Osman Dabo, Hatem Tralebsi and Sun Ji-hai. That was the City bench alongside Trevor Sinclair. 2 goals from Villa. John Carew, 24th minute. Sean Maloney, 75th.
Sean Maloney. Do you know what? It's a shame for him because he never reached his potential, and then he went out to Chicago, I believe it was. And I think he's still in America or somewhere like that now. A real shame to see a player like that. He scored against Chelsea as well in, I believe, a 3-0 win for us at the Bridge. Wow. Yeah. When you look back at some of these players, like, I don't think we're going to remember the likes of Sean Maloney in 20 years' time, are we? It's going to take a bit of jogging of the memory. But
well, no, funnily enough, he's not the most forgettable player in that lineup because playing right back for Villa today was Phil Bardsley.
Wow, I did not even know.
Didn't even know he played for Villa, but there you are. He was alongside Boomer, Larson, Melberg, in goal, Thomas Sorensen, legend. You might add, what a goal.
He was so good on Pez.
What a player. 2-0 at Etihad. Although given the City team, I'm not actually going to give us too much praise for that.
It's one we'll remember though.
Yeah.
We've not had many great results against Man City, have we really? Saying that though, there's the Bacuna free kick and the one we almost won at Etihad, didn't we? Cleverly, and Carlos Sanchez scored. Did a 2-2 draw.
That was something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was something. There seems to be a bit of a history of playing blues around Easter, because in 2006 it was that Gary Cahill goal. 3-1 against Blues. On the score sheet that day, Milan Barros with a double, Gary Cahill with a fantastic overhead kick, Chris Sutton, 25th minute for the Blues.
I didn't realise Chris Sutton for the Blues. That's another reason for me to dislike that man.
We had a fantastic bench. fantastic bench. Wow, this is really something. Stuart Taylor, De La Cruz, Juan Pablo, Gabby, and Craig Gardner. Amazing.
Impact subs.
Amazing.
Wow.
J. Lloyd Samuel played that day.
Rest in peace.
Big man. Gavin McCann.
Wow.
There's one that doesn't get spoken about enough. Gavin McCann, little throwback. Yeah. Stephen Davis, Liam Ridgewell all played that day. Kevin Phillips up top with Barras.
For us? Jeez, wow.
3-1.
Scored some good goals for us, Kevin Phillips.
Yeah, the week before we'd drawn 0-0 with Baggies. And then to top it all off, we went and lost, in traditional Villa style, lost to Wigan away.
Wow.
Something that we seem to be quite good at. That was 2005-06. But yeah, what is interesting is, as I was saying, is that the Easter fixtures are particularly drab, especially kind of around the Paul Lambert era. I'm looking
Coincidence, that's also the Matt Cron era, as we discussed in the last podcast.
I don't think it's... So 2013-14, which was the Benteke season, I have in my head, was that his standout season, 13-14?
I think so, yeah.
Not great around Easter. 12th of April, 1-0 loss to Palace, 0-0 with Southampton at home the week after, and then the 26th of April we lost 4-1 to Swansea away.
Oh, mate, that was a dark.
Is that the Shelby? Yeah,
I believe
it
so.
is the Shelby.
Carry on.
The Shelby goal from the halfway line in that game. Pretty much summarises the Easter period in general. It was very recent. John Shelby scoring from the halfway line.
Oh, I hate John Shelby, man. There was. It's. I think it's the fact that he's. I don't want to be too mean, but he's a bit of an ugly bastard, isn't he? And it's one of them ones. Like, he doesn't look like he should play football, which makes it even more infuriating. Looks like the son of Voldemort.
That's the classic comparison.
He was so good against us though, every time.
Yeah.
Even for Newcastle in the Championship. I mean, he's for all the off the ball incidents with him. He's still a great player.
Good player, isn't he?
Good player.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind.
There's that obviously infamous scuffle he had with Sir Alex on the touchline as well.
Never
forget. At Anfield.
Never forget.
Imagine having the balls to do that.
Wow. Yeah. As I said, 2015 Liverpool 2-1 FA Cup final. Week before, 1-0 win against Spurs, White Hart Lane.
Christian Benteke goal.
We all remember.
Set up by Leandro Bacuna.
Yeah, that's the only thing better than the header is the ball that comes before it. We didn't see that didn't happen enough. An outrageous ball from Bacuna. Covers about 40 yards, lands it perfectly.
He likes the early ball though, does Benteke, doesn't he? Take note, Roy, or whoever ends up managing Christian, wherever
so
he
sad
goes.
To see the state that he's in, isn't it, mate?
It's the worst.
It's so sad. He is a player that I think it's now 13 months since he last scored in the Premier League.
Mate.
I can't believe we're talking about Christian Benteke. 13 months since and he looks, and you watch him now.
He was in the top 8 most prolific strikers in Europe.
He looks so scared to go near a football. Like, you watch him play now, and he's like a man that has never seen one before. He's so scared. His shooting is like, in front of goal, he falls apart. Like, in the box, he just turns to like Lego, and he like just crumbles completely. It's so sad to see. So sad. I maintain that, you know, if we don't go up this season, and we do lose Tammy,
imagine getting him on loan.
It's got to be,
mate.
It's a like for like for Tammy. I think a pretty similar playing.
Significant amount of less pace, but thing is with Tammy, he can't really control the ball, can he?
No.
Whereas Christian can bring it down, and he doesn't have like Tammy. You just put one defender on him. Christian, you need 3 players on him to try and win that ball off him.
I just love I'd love to see him get his mojo back.
What I don't understand with Christian, with Liverpool and then Palace, you should know what you're getting with him. All of his goals were the same. He is a poacher, and he didn't like to do a lot of the work. There are times where he'd pick the ball up from deep and just run with it, which would really catch them off guard because he didn't really do that a lot. I think I recall Crystal Palace away, and then Manchester United as well, where he set up the one for Andy Vine. Remember the infamous Benteke bounce on Chris Smalling?
Speaking of Benteke goals against Man United,
overhead kick.
I'm talking the shimmy, cuts inside, bends it,
left foot.
Yeah, top ins.
Outrageous.
No chance.
Outrageous.
Yeah, mate, that guy. See, I'm maintaining this. If Tammy goes and we don't go up for whatever reason, CB20.
Bring him
Little
back.
heart. Get it
Well,
done.
no, he can't be tough, but that means beat losers.
Come on.
We'll give him 9. Yeah, we can have Hogan's number.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a look at Easter. So obviously we beat the Blues 2017, beat them 1-0. But again, Easter in the Championship.
I was there for that one, mate. That was the Grealish wonder goal.
Yeah, it was.
That was my first away day.
Red card for Koch as well.
Yeah, went with my mate Heaney. Shout out to Heaney. I know you'll be watching, mate. It was such a class day as well. It's a shame Fulham aren't in the Championship because that is an away day I think everyone should do. The stand's pretty weird. It's like the old school stages for the school plays. It's like just plastic steps, and it's like, oh god, this is a bit sketchy. But looking out onto the Thames, it's the perfect away day, mate. The only thing that ruins it is obviously the result.
I'm going to say a link to our current form, and I've been desperately searching for a year where Easter was good to us, and I've stumbled across the similarities are really surprisingly uncanny. So 1975, we find ourselves in the second division. We go on a ridiculous run of form post-February.
Under Ron Saunders.
It was under... Yes, I believe it was. Are you ready for this? So, February, we kick off, beat Portsmouth, beat United, beat Norwich, draw with Bolton, beat Forest, beat Southampton. We then lose 1-0 to Leyton Orient away. But then, March kicks in, beat Baggies, beat Millwall. I'm not saying anything. Beat Cardiff and beat Oldham. This is the Easter fixture. 5-0 at home against Oldham. 3-0 then week after Blackpool. 4-0 the week after that away at Sheffield Wednesday. 2-0 at home to Sunderland. And then get this, Norwich, on one of the last games of the season, beaten 4-1.
Wow.
I'm not saying I don't believe in omens, mate, but that's how you go. I now have been converted. The similarity is there. Can we see something similar? The run of form is pretty similar. We lost 1 between the 18th of February and the 30th of April.
I would take that, mate.
Yeah.
I would take that.
To get ourselves back into the first division. Big.
That's what we want to be, isn't it, mate? That is where we want to be.
Wow.
That is. Thing is, though, like teams now, I know obviously regardless of whatever the eight wins mean nothing if we don't go up right now, and obviously they've happened in the Championship as well. But how many teams do you see anywhere that go on runs of form like this now? This is very much a thing of the past, isn't it?
We are the most informed team in Europe.
Yeah.
At this moment in time, PSG's draw with Strasbourg and then the loss to Lille saw us
and Knox last night.
Of course. And so it saw us overtake them, and we are now, as I said, officially the most informed team in Europe. Which is
mate, how good is that to hear?
Don't mate, because seriously, we could make, if anyone has got the time, they could make a mockery of you and I by trawling through old podcasts and the things that weve said.
We're going to get
the amount of time I have said, no, seriously, we've written off the playoffs. Like, there's no chance. There's no point even considering it. Kind of around January, February, I was like, right, but seriously. I remember seeing Villa fans talking on Twitter about, we're still X amount of points off the playoffs, and we were like 13th, and I was just give up. Forget it. It's not happening.
If it doesn't happen now,
Jesus.
When is it going to happen?
Yeah, it's.
I said it.
Yeah, I like purely because of the fact that I think it's proven me entirely wrong. It's kind of going to happen.
Yeah. And because of course you're not going to be here.
Yeah, I know. That's even worse. I'll be with the Houston Lions. Shout out to you boys if you're watching. I'll be joining you guys over in Texas, unfortunately, to watch the game. As much as I'd love to be there, I won't be. Which brings me great pain, because isn't it just typical that the year we do go up, I decide to go and work in Texas? Of course that happens.
Yeah.
I was went through heartbreak at Wembley last year, but yeah, fine, go up when I'm not here. I'm not bitter. Not at all, mate.
As long as the Villa get promoted, mate.
No, and successful post-seasons don't get much better than in 1982, for obvious reasons. Of course, won some cup. pretty small.
I don't think we should.
No bigger than the Intertoto.
No, of course
I would
not.
like my-
No,
I'd
we
like
need to
to-
do part 2 of that, mate.
Yeah, that needs to come.
I think
That
we-
needs
I think
to
we
come.
need to do that
Seriously.
next week.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good video.
Easter weekend that year saw us take on Anderlecht in the
Fellow Intertoto Cup alumni.
yes, in the semis we had Anderlecht. Wasn't a great semi.
No.
Nothing like the match that yesterday. European drama probably wasn't quite going. It was 0-0 at Villa Park in the second leg. We beat them 1-0 in Belgium to progress, and then obviously went through to Rotterdam and beat some tin pot German side to win a pretty forgettable trophy.
Not done much now, have they really?
And
That lot.
that's the Bayern Munich. Don't hear about them much. So yeah, as successful post-seasons go, even then Easter wasn't particularly good to us in 1982. Yeah, a 1-1 draw with Forest followed that one, who at the time, to be fair,
Well, they just won
pretty formidable.
the same little trophy that we won.
And then the week after that, we lost 4-1 to Leeds at Villa Park.
I hope that's not an omen.
No, hopefully not. But yeah, we were in awful form in the run up to that game. Yeah, in the run up to the European Cup final, we lost to Leeds, drew with Man City, who at the time can't have been up to much.
No.
Lost 1-0 to Stoke, beat the Baggies 1-0 at the Hawthorns, lost to Everton 2-1, and then finally, 5 days before we won the European Cup, a morale boosting 3-0 win against Swansea at Villa Park sent us on our way.
Do you know what, mate? We had our priorities straight.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
we had eyes in the right
And
place.
we'd already won the league the year before. That's how it went them days, isn't it? You won,
No,
there was a bit of a trend. I was in a taxi in Liverpool, and as most people are in Liverpool, they're actually Everton fans. And he was telling me that the years before, like 80 and 81, because English teams were banned, weren't they, from Europe because of Heysel, and we were discussing the form of English teams, and back then there was a bit of a trend of if you won the first division, as it was, you're pretty much guaranteed to win the European Cup, because obviously Liverpool did it. Everton won it back to back, maybe, I believe, the first division, but weren't allowed in, and then I think it was actually Forest and then us. I think that's how it happened. So yeah, bit unfortunate for Everton, that one. Trivia.
So it's funny that we were just talking about redoing the Intertoto video. I actually might have a tournament that we should focus on instead, because I was looking at how we did in the inaugural season of the Premier League, 92-93, we finished runners up.
To Blackburn.
Yeah, crazy.
That's not
what you want to see, is it?
No.
So the season before the Premier League, we competed, get this, in the Zenith Data Systems Cup.
What is that?
Yeah, I have no idea. It wasn't around Easter. It was, I'm just looking back at the fixtures from that season. We played 2 games in it. First leg beat Coventry 2-0.
No wonder they hate us.
Perhaps
we knocked them out of that.
The Zenith Data Systems Cup. Where's that? And then crashed out 2-0 at home to Forest. Maybe it was a local thing, seeing as we played Coventry and Forest. Is it a regional thing, maybe?
There was like a little hacking going on
Yeah,
there.
the Zenith Data Systems Cup.
Wow.
That's what you want to be winning, mate. That's the big one.
That's almost as good as that Bassfast trophy we won in pre-season.
That is unforgettable. I wonder where that
Liverpool
is.
have won that.
Have they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's Burton's little thing. Wow.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. So yeah, inaugural season in the Premier League, Easter, 3-1 win against City. Beat Arsenal the week before, and then went to Ewood. This is probably where it fell apart again. Easter, not looking great. I think we were on course. We've been in a really good run of form. Last 3 games of the season, it must have looked so good for Villa fans. We had Blackburn, Oldham and Queen's Park Rangers.
You can't lose against the champions to be if you want to win the league.
And we lost all 3. 3-0 to Blackburn, 1-0 to Oldham at home, and then lost on the final of the season to QPR away. It must have been where it fell apart, really. It was all looking so good, and we could have had a Premier League title. But again, Easter.
Just think if we'd have won that, do you reckon we'd still be in the Premier League now?
It's incredible, isn't it? Because when you look at little moments like that, like I will forever be scarred by Nemanja Vidic seeing yellow.
Mate,
I don't want to bring that up. I'm sorry to all you guys watching as well.
I think that was my first heartbreak.
Tears are coming to my eyes just thinking about it. Because if you get sent off there, we could potentially go on to win the match. We then get European football.
We should have had a penalty as well.
And the fortunes of Villa, Young stay, because that was the season where everyone started to leave. Young stays, everyone stays, we progress, we're in Europe yet again, we kick on, and then maybe Dr. Tony's 5-year Champions League plan actually might have been a thing.
Oh, do you know what? Dr. Tony's getting a bit of a flack again recently, mate. I don't know if you've.
I haven't seen enlighten me.
Recently, there's been plans to build a high-speed rail service from China to England.
Oh right.
And obviously, we've lost 30% of our training ground, Bodymore, to HS2. Some people have been putting together the pieces.
Wow. That's a conspiracy.
I think that's,
that's
a video, mate. There's a video.
Villa conspiracy theories. Let's do it.
Let's get on it. But how strange is that? Because I mean, for all we know, Tony could have had the best intentions, but
yeah, I think
he these Chinese billionaires who were just moving the chess pieces one at a time.
You never know, mate. You never know. That was the 5-year Champions League plan. Audacious as they come. Audacious. I'm going to take us from the Championship to Champions League glory in 5 years. Vision. I think that is the second most audacious comment I've heard at Villa Park in recent years. Behind in Tactics Tim's first press conference, pre-Stoke, sits down, announces himself as the potential new Pep Guardiola.
Have you ever seen Pep wear a gilet?
No. In fact, I actually think Tim's attire was better than Pep's because that cardigan is god awful. The grey number that Pep's sport, get it gone.
He's rocking the Stony as well, mate.
This is what I think. He usually looks quite tidy, you know. I like him when he wears those Stony jumpers, a little t-shirt, and he's looking quite on the money. But then he ruins it with that cardigan. What is that all about?
Mate, it's the weather, isn't it?
So yeah, when I think it was perhaps more a fashion statement by Tim in reference to the odd choices of clothing as opposed to his tactical awareness.
Of course.
Tactically, he definitely wasn't the new Pep Guardiola, but in terms of fashion, he's probably, in terms of what managers are most famous for wearing, you look at Pep for that cardigan, and then probably Tim Sherwood is the next one for the GA. So actually, I take it back, Tim. You were the new Pep Guardiola. I'm so sorry. In fact, you were doing it before Pep, mate.
It was.
So he was pepping before.
Do you know
Pep
what? It's the Macron era as well, mate.
Yeah.
And you've come to slate that.
Yeah,
but the gilet was on point. I mean,
yeah.
I saw someone walking around Villa Park with one the other day, and it was. I think it actually said TS. They must have got it off classic football shirts. And,
yeah.
God knows how they get all this stuff, but.
Yeah, I remember the GA throw.
Yes.
QPR throws it to the ground. Passion.
Mate, that Benteke free kick.
So yeah, speaking about Benteke and confidence, the man was taking free kicks. He's 6'3"
from 40 yards out.
For God's sake, can we tell this man to calm down?
We still didn't win that game though, did we?
No, we didn't. Charlie Austin had his say, I remember.
I rate Charlie Austin so highly.
Yeah, he's the man that's been late a few times, isn't it?
You know, in I probably should be saying this on the podcast, but in January when he was linked, one of my mates and someone I know through Twitter, Callum Watkins, really funny guy. Follow him if you don't. He's honestly jokes. He sends me a message saying, retweet this tweet for me, please. Going to see if we can get it to bang. And it was someone saying Charlie Austin was having a medical at Villa, and that was us. We engineered that.
Oh no way!
And we got it on Sky Sports, and Chris Shootworrell was very, very proud, but also very shocked.
Wow, that's amazing!
Yeah, we got that on Sky Sports. It was so amazing. Funny. Yeah.
Wow.
He was never at Villa Park. The tweet was like, "Oh yeah, my nan's the tea lady, and he's had a medical. It got 100 likes." Next thing you know, Sky sources have reported that Charlie Austin has been spotted at Villa Park.
Wow. Do you remember Berbatov?
Yes.
His paramedical, Adebayor as well. That was the thing. We went from signing. Right, if we can't get Dimitri Berbatov, we've got to turn to Adebayor. It's the only logical move, really, lads.
It was the Tim Sherwood connection, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Do you remember the salute for the Spurs? Them two were like best mates.
Yeah. God, what we would have seen for a Adebayor's salute returned by Tim Sherwood.
The pulse check.
That's what we all needed
Oh,
to
mate.
see. Wow.
Imagine Adebayor and Benteke up front.
Do you remember? Yeah, this is mate. We're sprouting out the ideas. Transfer rumours has got to be a great idea for a podcast.
Yes.
Sergio Canales. Do you remember the deadline there a few years ago? £21 million Real Sociedad. Never. Paul Lambert fell through.
Hey, look at him now as well. You know,
killing it at Betis.
Mate.
Now.
One for career mode.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was so, mate.
I remember that because there was whispers of that early in the summer, wasn't there?
Mm.
And I remember seeing the YouTube clips because that's how we viewed all of our Lambert signings through YouTube, and thought, if we can get this kid, we are going places. Oh mate, them were the days though, weren't it? Like,
speaking of, I must make a confession. Speaking of watching YouTube videos to decide, whether you approve of new signings. When Carlos Sanchez signed for the Villa, I quickly went on YouTube, and because obviously I didn't know who Carlos Sanchez was at the time. I don't think many people did.
Did you not watch the 2014 World Cup?
La Rocca.
Yes.
And I went on YouTube and made Carlos Sanchez compilation, and it brought up I think a legendary River Plate striker called Carlos Sanchez, right? And this guy was banging in goals left, right, and centre. I was like, wow. Seriously, we've got the best number 9 in the Premier League. This guy is scoring. He was chipping. Honestly, he was making a mockery of Boca Juniors. He was scoring. Carlos Sanchez was banging them in for goals. And then I saw him make his debut, and completely different complexion, afro. I was like,
centre defensive
he
mid.
drops in midfield. I'm thinking, you've got this all wrong. This guy is the best number 9 in the Premier League. And yeah, it then dawned on me that different Carlos Sanchez. But yeah, I was genuinely gutted, mate. I was like, our goal scoring comes Benteke and Carlos Sanchez up front. This is going to rip teams apart.
I believe.
Never formulated.
This is going on Twitter. I believe. Did we sign Carlos Sanchez in January, or was that the summer? I get confused with him and Hill.
Oh no, Hill was January.
Hill was
so he was probably
Sanchez
in the
was
summer,
the summer, yeah. Mate, what a player.
Hill's debut was Liverpool, and then his first full debut was Bournemouth when he scored
a goal. Yeah,
the goal.
Wow.
Which I thought. I actually feel like we didn't see. Obviously, I know it's quite easy to say we didn't see the best, but I think Carlos Hill, if you put him in this Villa team, great player.
Oh, I don't know, mate. I don't know because where does he play? I'd have liked to have seen him play more as a 10.
Yeah, I think because we do need a backup for Jack.
But mate, you look at how much Jack gets kicked about. Carlos Hill would never cut it from there.
Yeah, that was the thing. He needed a bit more of a bulk, didn't he? He needed never really cut out.
Really small.
So suited to Spanish football, and now obviously suited to MLS football.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to end it, mate. We've got Bolton tomorrow, but depending on when this comes out, it's either today or it's happened. There'll probably be some sort of video on that, like we did. I did a brief one on the 8 wins, so hopefully we can extend it to 9.
Yeah.
Dan, it's been great to have you on, man.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me again. Really enjoying it.
No problem. And we're coming to the close of the season now, obviously. Me and Dan are both actually jetting off to America for the summer.
Yeah.
So in terms of we're getting quite into the groove of this, aren't we? So we'll definitely have some stuff pre-recorded for the summer.
Well, speaking of content, we were talking about Remy Gard and Hill linking up in the MLS. They come to play Houston Dynamos when I'm in Houston, when the Triangle goes to the game. So I will be reporting live to give the Holte followers an update on the current happenings of Remy Gard and Carlos Hill.
Mate, that's incredible. We need definitely some content in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully, with preliminary plans, obviously, we're hoping to both get up to Minnesota for the pre-season friendly we've announced. That's amazing. There's so many American Villa fans.
Yeah, that's a really good because Minnesota have a new club fresh into the MLS.
20,000 seat stadium.
It's a fantastic. The Allianz Stadium. And looks fantastic.
This is their first full season in the MLS.
Isn't
it? So be a good pre-season test, and it'd be great to get people involved in the MLS as well. Obviously, it's a corporate, it's a business venture for Villa. And just a pre-season friendly, but a lot of people don't like the quality of the MLS, and I know Sky certainly show a lot. I know we both watched that, so it'd be good to see how the MLS could potentially face up against the Premier League side, hopefully. Fingers crossed. We don't want to jinx anything. So yeah, thank you guys as well for the 900 subscribers.
Yeah, again.
We're hoping to get 1,000 before the end of the season.
That's the big
It
one.
could happen.
We can do it.
It's as the days go on, it's getting less likely. But now we've hit the 900, I'm feeling confident we can get there. Your support's been great on the podcast and on the channel as always. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed. Comment your thoughts below and subscribe for more. Up and up.